So it's a massive crowd all the way to the back. And I'll walk in a minute. I'll walk in a little bit. Put myself on this side. I'm gonna flip the camera. My God, YouTube also censoring. Well, hopefully people will watch that I'm live at YouTube and notifications are being done. There we go. There's some people watching now on YouTube. Thank you for joining in. God bless everybody that is watching. We are standing right here at a particular point where the migrant population still, it is right now waiting for the humanitarian visa or the visa of transit to move to the north borders, as that is their planification and that is their only plan. We're standing all the way to the back. We don't want to interrupt nothing. We are continuing with this live broadcast and this live feed. And we are basically giving you guys coverage, the full coverage of this phenomenon that is an exodus from people from Venezuela. Majority is an exodus from the dictatorship of Nicolás Maduro from Venezuela, as hundreds and thousands have been arriving to the south border of Mexico and have been asking for asylum and refugee to move to the north borders of the United States of America. There's a lot of children that they are sick right now, and there is the predominant number is majority men, but also there's a lot of children. Yesterday, the count was 1,300 and fraction women, 600 and plus children, 2,116 or 2,130 and 1,638 men. Predominant number men. There's more men arriving today to the border or to the immigration center of Cerro Gordo. This is the immigration center of Cerro Gordo. Somebody's asking if this live. Yes, it is live. Of course it is live. There's more people arriving on this side as they are walking right now towards the situation right here. But we are going to be standing here for a little bit, waiting to see if they are going to attend the migrant population or they are going to do something about it. Let's see what they are going to do. If the immigration officers right there, you see the National Guard officials guarding the migrant station of Cerro Gordo, and they are protecting the boundary between Cerro Gordo and the entrance to get the paperwork inside of the immigration center of Cerro Gordo. That is the Fat Mountain. Translation: Fat Mountain. This is the current situation right now that we are living. It is almost again another caravan. This will be our 10th caravan. I was counting the caravans yesterday as I was basically going to sleep, and this is my 10th caravan. This is exactly my 10th caravan. It is 10 caravans that we have traveled. Due to this factor, that is 10 caravans that we have traveled. We were experiencing it, and by our experience, and by the All that we have lived on these 10 caravans, I believe that today or tomorrow they're going to be attended. They're going to give them the multiple migration form that is the permit for them to walk freely. Now, this is the thing. I was talking to a lot of them late at night, and I was asking them if what is their number one problem with this process, and they don't want to wait 30 days because the process has already been established in Mexico, but the process is too long, they say. So this is the process. You go to the Commission of Refugees first. That is the COMAR, COMAR. That is an organization from the United Nations. So you arrive to Mexico. You go to that migrant station, a globalist from the United Nations migrant station that is called COMAR, Commission of Refugees. After that, then you go to that Commission of Refugees that is called COMAR. They give you an appointment date. After they give you an appointment date, and the appointment date is provided, it takes 30 days to 60 days to get an appointment with the Center of Distribution of Documents. That is where we were located the other day. And is where we were for like almost 4 days. After you get that appointment, you go to the Center of Documents. And after that, you go over there, you wait until you get attended with an appointment. And then they pass you through the office and they provide you the immigration form, the multiple migration form. The problem right here is that there's a lot of corruption with officers of the immigration, international immigration of Mexico. There's a lot of corruption between the government of Mexico, and there's a lot of corruption everywhere. So a lot of these officers, they extend the permit for the migrants to say, you know what, I think that we need money. You need money to get that permit much quicker. So they start selling the permit. And that is where corruption starts happening. And what do I mean by selling the permit? I mean that if they are saying, you know what, if you want to go faster to the United States, this is how much it's going to cost you. If you want to land quicker to the United States, this is how much it's going to cost you. So the migrants become a currency now, not only since they exit their country, but ultimately when they land over here. A lot of these migrants are economic migrants, economical displaced migrants. That is the terminology that they're using. And that's the correct terminology, economical displaced migrants. These migrants are awaiting a better opportunity of life. Majority of them, 70 to 80% of them, are economical migrants. The other 30% are legitimate cases of persecution and cases of refugee and asylum. But the problem right here is that the process, it is, they're not agreeing with the process. And this is what law and order is supposed to be. Law and order, it is when a country stands with the Constitution, stands with the law, stands with sovereignty, and also not only that, stands with the right to decide how a migration process should be. And it should be a filter. That is the most important thing. For people to understand, they should be a filter, which they don't have a filter. There's no filter whatsoever. And that is the main problem of all of this. That because there is no filter, and because there is no additional uh, security procedure, you have a lot of infiltrated individuals, which they are causing only problems, which they are causing majority agitators. A lot of them, they're escaping from their countries from federal convictions. And there's a lot of infiltrated individuals. Even the migrant population itself. Compromiso. This is where the National Guard officials are going. Got 5 National Guard officials walking right here. I don't know if they're going to attend them right now. This is the actual situation right now, how it looks. And thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voice News. We're live, people. And the most important thing about this is that we're live at Getter and we're live at YouTube. So share this out in Getter. And share this out in YouTube. Somebody saying, what a process, Oscar. What kind of process? The only process that it should be. That it should be a manifesto and a process for them to understand how to migrate and how to do things correctly. And that process should be clearly identified as they are exiting their country, but there is none. And they complain. I was having a long conversation with them last night, and I was being clear of explaining things to them. They're complaining about Mexico. They're saying that the process is hurtful, that the process takes too long, and that in other countries, the process doesn't take that long. And I said, all right, you're close to the United States. You're close to your objective, supposedly. So just geographically, just do a hypothetical example. And let's just change the territory of Mexico and let's put Honduras right there. Do you think Honduras will do the same as what Mexico is doing, taking a long process? And they said yes. So I said, it's not the country. It is because the United States, it's on the north of Mexico. So Mexico, in a way, it is obligated to enforce their immigration laws and enforce their sovereignty because of this massive influx. And I also asked them, do you think this is economical supportive? That is substantial? Do you think that the Mexican federal funds can sustain this? And one of them interrupted me and said, we understand the United States cannot take that much. He said, we understand that the United States cannot take that many people. And we know that this possibly is going to collapse that country. We are too many. We cannot be doing this. This is one migrant that said this last night. So by this, you understand that they already know that there's a massive, massive exodus from people from Venezuela, that they're exiting their country because there is, there's, for them, there is no other way. But ultimately, for us, that we're standing right here, we can tell you that this has been happening for quite some time now. And the most shocking one was the last one. More than 15,000 migrants walking. We are standing in ground zero where the migrant population around 2,800, and it has decreased. Why? A lot of people are saying why it has decreased, Oscar. You said that it was 4,000. A lot of them they smuggle themselves to different points. A lot of them they move, risking their security, and they just move. And they know that there's a huge possibility of them being stopped, of them being in a way being stopped or returned back. They know that, but they risk that. So they intend to say, you know what, we don't care. We'll risk that. I'll take that risk. I'll take that risk. So we're going to walk right now in the middle of the whole caravan. For security reasons, I need to put my mask on. And you guys must excuse me, but I have to put my mask on. There's a lot of sick people, and for security reasons, I am going to do it. Oscar, do you think men are more willing to take the risk than women? No, I think it is almost the same. They're almost exactly the same. They take the same risk, and and the problem is that they take the risk with the children, with the children. That is another, situation that they take the risk with the children. Watch your vocabulary and Getter, please. I know it's a freedom platform. I know that it's freedom of speech, but come on, let's be educated and let's watch our vocabulary on Getter, please. Let's not be denigrating the live feed, so it will get disrespectful. I think that we are educated individuals and our audience is extremely educated, so let's continue to respect ourselves and respect our live feed. So let's see how this is going to come about. Today, they are awaiting to be attended. There's list already. There's the immigration center of Cerro Gordo. That is the entrance. This is the whole back. And I am about to go in. So people, be sure to be watching this. This is raw and uncut. Raw and uncut footage for all of you. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go walk it in the middle of all of this. Gonna go all the way to the front, and then when we get to where our car is, we will start a broadcast over there again. I want you guys to see this, how it looks. And the problem is that when you're walking, a lot of these migrants, they start, you know, coming towards you and saying like, hey, I need to talk, I need to say, they're not attending us. Look the way that we are living. We're going to go through the middle of it so you guys can understand how this looks. Put the camera up. Voy a caminar hacia allá. No, no, no hay problema. Voy a estar enfrente nomás. Señorón, ¿cómo está? This is how it looks right now. Papá, enfrente. Oscar el Blue en YouTube. Oscar Blue Ramírez en YouTube. Sí, entonces, we're going to continue to walk right here. Look at this.
Oscar.
¿Qué rollo? Military age man, the majority, and there's a lot of women also, I'm not going to lie. We're right in the middle of the camp. People in a wheelchair, people sleeping on the floor. This is precarious, inhuman conditions, but this is what these open border policies will do. The Biden administration it is full responsible for this. This is the Biden administration's responsibility. Somebody saying, Oscar, that mask will protect you like a chain, like something protects a mosquito. I will dare to differ. Well, that is through the middle, this is the whole trash. Look at this. This is the trash that they leave behind. That is how it looks right now. I'll flip the camera right now for you guys to continue to watch. So I'm going to explain what you guys just saw. It's just Claro que sí, soy mexicano. ¿Cómo no voy a entender español? ¿Dónde? Un niño. ¿Qué edad tiene? ¿De dónde? Pues es que no tienen que andar metiendo sus propiedades, señores, son propiedades privadas. Es que, ¿y los asaltaron? Su hijo está desaparecido. Ah, pues. No, es que no quieren que se metan en esa propiedad, nada más. Lo que pasa es que ellos, yo sé, lo que pasa es que ellos ven la propiedad y piensan que se van a meter a la propiedad, ¿entiendes? Ellos no quieren que se vayan a meter a la propiedad. Por eso salen ellos así. Ya a ver si otra cosa de que a lo mejor anden operando otra célula delictiva, pues, señora, es célula delictiva. Bueno, más o menos a cuántos kilómetros más o menos está aquí. Eh, ok. Bueno. Bueno, entonces lo guardamos para decirlo después. Ahorita. Muchas gracias. Está bueno. Sí, sí. Ah, bueno. Que lo comunique uno. Ándale, muchas gracias. Let's flip the camera right here as the migrants explained to me that there's current places where there's property where they're entering and they're walking through and they're getting assaulted. And I said, well, that's private property. You cannot enter private property. You got to watch out. You know, those are private properties. Don't go into private properties. If you don't want to get assaulted, just don't go into private properties. And she's saying, well, it was not a private property. We were walking on the street. Yeah, but the people intend to go. As you guys can see, there's a fence right here on the side of the street. And the people intend to go all the way to the side of the highway to say, you do not enter my property. So let us flip the camera here so I can talk to you guys for a little bit. Behind me, you will see the massive crowd. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News correspondent for Real America's Voice News and the Wendy Bell Radio Network. We are live from the Center of Immigration Cerro Gordo, that is on the part of Wixla. This is around 65 kilometers away from south of the border in Tapachula. We arrived last night. We were here until 2 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, basically broadcasting and getting some B-roll video for our network. Not only that, working hard for you guys as we walk the walk, we don't talk the walk. And we basically bring you guys reality and truth of the news, of everything that is happening, of everything that is occurring with this migrant phenomenon that is continuing. And that is something, let me pin something right here. Let me see if I can pin it. I can't. Well, we are live at Getter as we are. Yesterday, I committed a mistake. I went live on Facebook, and just you get accustomed so much when you're going live, and you get accustomed so much that you're going live and you press platforms, and I press accidentally Facebook, and I started doing I said this live feed is going to be bilingual, But ultimately, because we were talking to the migrants, it turned into Spanish. So I said, you know what? It's going to turn into Spanish, the live feed, and people started getting mad. You intend to forget. I was born in Mexico. I'm a Mexican citizen. I'm a Tijuana. I was born in Tijuana. My main first language is Spanish. I started doing live streams in Spanish, not in English. And then I merged into doing English and then later Spanish. But you must understand I'm a bilingual, almost trilingual. This year I can, later on this year, possibly I can call myself trilingual. But this is the most important thing, that we're bringing the information and people were getting mad. You need to translate to me right now. The hell, you're not my boss. We are in the middle of a place where it is really insecure. And then I'm trying to extract the information so possibly tomorrow I can get you more information or later on that afternoon. So we do that kind of broadcast. And need to understand, people in Facebook need to understand that if I'm in a place where I can not translate and not have the time for me to interview and translate at the same time, it is because of the circumstances and the place that I'm at. I don't see no other network doing this. So if you don't like the way that I'm handling things, go and tell your favorite network to do this, what I'm doing. So I don't see nobody right here behind me. CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, nobody behind me doing this. So the least that we can do is complain and just try to do the best that we can. Today we arrived right here in the morning. We have around a 3.5 hour sleep, possibly 4 hours. We just got to sleep 4 hours. And also ultimately, after 4 hours that we got to sleep, we got up, immediately got over here. Why we got over here? Because they told us that they're going to attend them at 7 o'clock in the morning. And they're going to attend them at 7 o'clock in the morning. We will know if today they're going to give them the humanitarian visa or the multiple migration form. That is, that is just the permit for them to go to the United States of America and the north borders. Get to know. Yesterday, I was doing an interview with a migrant, and this is the most important thing about that interview. It's what he said, and it's not me saying it. It was him. He said this. He said, "Oscar, we know that the United States cannot take that much. It's a lot of people, and it's a lot of people that they're coming to the United States. This is a migrant. It is not me. It was a migrant. I don't want to put words in my mouth. This was a migrant, and I have the interview. So the migrant says, we know that the United States cannot take that much. It's a lot of people. And we know that there's going to be a point where the United States is going to say no more. That's it. But at the meantime, can we just try?" And I said, "You're trying, but you're trying in an incorrect way. This is not the way." And now I said to all of them, a coyote and a trafficker, it is a resource for you of transportation. It is not a resource. It's not supposed to be a resource. And now a coyote and a trafficker, it is a resource for you. This is how ridiculous it has gotten, to a point that a coyote and a trafficker or a smuggler, it is a resource for you to transportation to get to your destiny. That is not supposed to be. Why? Because that is a federal crime. And you're supposed to have a process where you already know the pathway to basically get to point A to point B. These processes, they're not implemented, not even by the Biden administration, not by the current administration in Mexico, by the administration in Central and South America. Nobody cares about a process. They only care about advancing. So when you advance in this irregular fashion, you will encounter a lot of irregularities. What irregularities I'm talking about? Number one, irregularity, trafficking and smuggling. That's the number one illegality that occurs with these mass migrations. Open borders will only provide insecurity, disastrous processes, and also incapabilities for the authorities to handle a mass flow. You have seen it in Morocco with Spain, at the borders on Nardal, where more than 36 migrants were hammered and pushed and suffocated by the authorities because this is a massive flow and there's no legal process. So when there's no legal process and when you have a massive flow like this, it is an open border agenda. This is what the United Nations have done to our world. And you don't see none of these organizations like the United Nations in this place where they need to be. They created this. They are the ones with the master plan. George Soros is the one with the master plan. United Nations is the one with the master plan. These global organizations are the ones with the master plan. These NGOs are the ones with the master plan. Where is their travesty, where they are hurting, they're not there. And why they're not there? Because the cartel is there. So if the United Nations wanted to do something, they will completely agree with the government for some protection for the migrants to not cross through the Darien Gap. Now, look what a migrant was saying yesterday. I told him, do you pay a guide and a coyotes you're coming over here? And everybody started saying no. And I said, no, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. We're speaking right here. We're having a dialogue. And then one says, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I paid. And another one said, hey, I had to pay in Guatemala also. And then somebody started coming out and saying, like, well, the United Nations, what do you say to them? Well, in Mexico, they haven't helped. And also in Panama, and also in Guatemala, and also in Honduras, they said, no, they help us. Where? Before we go into the jungle. Unlike the United Nations is not supposed to be an organization that is with bait, that is in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the jungle, for you to understand that there's a process for the United Nations. Let me tell you, I said, so you're telling me that when you exit Venezuela, you already know the route. At certain kilometers, the United Nations is going to be there to help you, right? Yes, that's not supposed to be the way. The United Nations is supposed to be outside of the limitations of your country, guiding you, explaining to you, and protecting you from not migrating through difficult journeys. That is their job. Their job is not to let you walk through the middle of the jungle, risk your life, and almost lose your life. In some cases, God forbid, that is not the job of the United Nations. Oh, yeah, they're helping us. They have a migrant camp. Where at? Before they enter the Darien Gap, what is this? Is welcome to the Darien Gap? Welcome to the jungle, like Guns N' Roses? Just, walk in and risk your life through the jungle? That is the whole process? That is how these processes supposed to be? They understood that. They said if there's a lot of lack of education in terms to immigration processes, and this is where the leftists and the liftards they enter and they deviate all this, and they start with their pandering of you're oppressing them, you're talking bad about them, you're xenophobic, Oscar. No, I'm not. I'm a pro-migrant myself. What are you talking about? I'm trying to avoid catastrophes of them walking through these horrible journeys. But they oppress you with their language as you are a fearmonger. You're creating hysteria at the border. You are a white supremacist. You're a white imperialist. You are not woke. You're xenophobic, transphobic, pronoun phobic. All of the phobia that you can only imagine. But they don't help the right catastrophe right here. They don't help. right here where it's happening. I'm not just going to turn on. Where is the United Nations right here? To all of you, let me put my hat on and say this with pride, man. To all of you, all of you, all of these networks, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, Democracy Now, Daily Beast, all you leftist networks, that a lot of you are godless networks and full with evilness because you are all for pandering to the humanitarian side. Where are you? I'll wait for you to answer me this. To all these tabloid journalists that they stand at a podium and said, oh, I have walked with migrants, I have seen migrants in the desert and all this kind of stuff. I don't see you here walking in the middle of all of this and explaining this catastrophes and the humanitarian crisis that coexist, buying them water or something, helping them with something. Are you here broadcasting this, exposing you to some infection or just to get sick, as we do as journalists, as reporters right here in the middle of the epicenter, walking with them in a confrontation, getting in the middle of the river, Suchiate, and broadcasting on the river? Where are you? To all you networks that you're so humanitarian. That's my great question. This is what fake news and false news, they deviate from the reality and the truth of the news, where children right here, and I'm not going to lie, children right here are playing in the mud, eating a soda right there. I'm not lying. Look at that. A lot of people say, well, Oscar, this is getting inhuman. This is inhuman treatment. This is provoked by these globalist organizations, these elitist organizations. And it is inhuman and precarious situations where you put people in precarious situations. We cannot continue with this migration process. We cannot continue like this. This is inhuman. We're supposed to be human ourselves. And a justification to say, we don't even take care of our own, Oscar. I understand that. But this is a global humanitarian crisis. It's the whole world that is going through this. The United States cannot take care of our own, Oscar. We cannot take care of the world. I understand that you cannot take care of the world. I'm just telling you, this is a humanitarian crisis on third world class countries that have been oppressed by these corporations and these monopolies of companies that they oppress the population, and they don't provide a good infrastructure, good jobs. It exacerbates into a point where you have people saying, you know, the hell with it. I'm 25 years old. I don't got nothing to defend myself in my country. I'm living on a communist system, on a dictatorship. The hell with it, I'm leaving. When it's supposed to be the opposite. It's supposed to be, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to live in my country. I'm going to be proud to live in my country. I will provide for my country. I will be proud to be with my country. I will be a patriot. But there's no patriotism whether you're suffering, when you're suffering with hunger, when you're suffering with insecurity, when you're suffering with assassinations and homicides, when you're suffering with, you're seeing your children suffer. Patriotism comes secondary because you need to provide to survive. Thank you so much for joining in. I will finish this live feed saying goodbye to everybody on YouTube. Thank you so much on YouTube. I don't see you guys. I will continue the live feed on Getter, only on Getter. So goodbye to everybody on YouTube. I will be broadcasting later on YouTube. Join my Getter account as Oscar Blue Ramirez. You can share my live feed and also join my my platform at Getter. We're trying to get to 10,000 at Getter. We are almost there. So let's share the information. Let's get to 10,000. We only got like 100 people to go. So thank you so much. Let me just finish the live feed at YouTube, and we will finish in a few moments at Getter.